Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce Admin Series. Today's topic is workflow rules. So let's see what we are going to cover in this video. So first we will see what is process automation in Salesforce. Then we will see what are the different tools that are provided by Salesforce to automate any of your business processes. Then we will learn about the workflows and workflow rules. So let's start with process automation. So as you know, in any organization, there are few business processes which need to be done repetitively in any organization. So like suppose you have few processes that are defined in your organization, and that needs to be done every time anything that triggers those process. So like every time, suppose any new employees joins the organization, he or she should be given an orientation. Or anytime, suppose any customer has purchased or confirmed any order from your organization, you send them the confirmation mail. So those are kind of processes that are repetitively done in any organization. So if you do it every time manually, it will take a lot of time. So automation basically makes those processes uh, not to be done manually every time, but to automate it so that user can save its time, and the process will always be done as defined without any scope of error. So when if you have defined that particular process to be done automatically, so there'll be less chances of human error, and then the user can save its time and can utilize his time in other tasks that are important in any organization. So Salesforce also provides this kind of automation where you can automate your business's processes. And to automate such process, you need not to do any kind of coding. It can be simply achieved by point and click solutions. So whatever automation processes we are going to discuss, those all will be can be easily done with the help of point and click functionalities, and you need not to do any kind of coding for that. So let's see what are the different automation tools that Salesforce provides. So Salesforce provides multiple tools to automate an organization's repetitive business process. What are those tools are? The first one is the approvals, then second one is workflows, the third one is lightning flow, in under which you have two other um, processes, that is called lightning process builder and the flows. So these are four main automation processes provided by Salesforce, or automation tools that gives you flexibility to automate any kind of business processes in your organization. So most of the processes you can cover with the help of these point and click solution, and you need not to do any kind of development or like any kind of rigorous coding to achieve this automations. So we will discuss approvals and lightning flow in later videos, but today's video we will be going to learn about workflows. So let's see what is a workflow and what is a workflow rule. So a workflow lets you automate standard internal procedures and processes to save time across the organization. So basically, it's a kind of a rule that you define in Salesforce, that you configure in Salesforce using different kind of rule criteria and actions, and it will help you to automate your standard internal procedures and processes. And once you automate it, it will definitely going to save time across the organization, and there'll be a consistency to follow that particular process. So a workflow rule is the main container for a set of workflow instructions. So whatever your instructions are there under a workflow, that you can define in a workflow rule. So basically a workflow is the container where you are keeping all the workflow instructions. So whatever this workflow will be doing in the organization to automate any process, those all rules will be contained under uh, workflow rule. So a workflow rule is a point and click version of an if then statement. Like suppose you have a situation, suppose if it is sunny outside, if it is sunny outside, you want to take your sunglasses with you. So what is if situation here? The if situation is if it is sunny, if it is sunny outside, then what do you want to do? So that is the then part will come. Then you want to take your sunglasses whenever you are going out. So that is a workflow. It is basically a group of if and then statements. So you can define some if statements and you can define some then statements. So if this thing happens, then this should be happen. If this situation comes, then this should be the process to follow along. So a workflow rule can be divided into two main components. The first one is the criteria, which is your if part. So what is the criteria to run this workflow rule? If this happens, and what should be done when this happens? So that will come your then part, which is called action in a workflow rule. So there are two main parts, criteria. So you define the criteria. Okay, this is the criteria when this workflow rule should be fired and what action it should take. So that would be your then part. So suppose you have in any organization you have some opportunities. So suppose you have any opportunities whose value is going to be greater than 50,000. So for that particular opportunity, you want to send an email to its owner or maybe to the manager of the owner. Okay, this is a high priority or a high stake opportunity, so it should be taken care by the manager. So those kind of processes in any organization can be taken care by workflow rules. So every time when an opportunity comes with more than 50,000 values, you need not to send that email manually, but then you will just define a workflow rule which will take care of this particular process. And every time the manager will get intimation once any opportunity of more than 50,000 value comes into the organization. So that is your, the criteria will be the opportunity amount is greater than 50,000. And what is the action part? That you will send an email to the manager. So this is your workflow rules main components, criteria and action. So when a record meets all the criteria for a workflow rule, that rule's actions are executed. So obviously, when you meet all these criteria which you have defined under any workflow rule, then only your actions which you have defined in the workflow rule gets executed. So if the opportunity is not greater than 50,000, then the workflow rule that you have defined in which the action is to send an email, it will not be sent because that particular record is not meeting the criteria. So the action will not be executed. Once your record will meet that criteria of opportunity amount greater than 50,000, then the rules action, that is sending an email, will be executed. So after selecting an object to which the rule relates to, configure the evaluation criteria. So when we go ahead and create any workflow rule, first we have to select an object for which object this workflow rule will be applied to. So once we select that object, like in the example which I'm giving you, the object is opportunity. So once you select the opportunity, you have to configure the evaluation criteria. So when this particular workflow rule should be evaluated. So there are three options of the evaluation criteria. The first one is the created. So it will evaluate the rule when a record is created. So with this option, this rule will never run more than once per record, because any record can be created only once. Once it is created, that time only this particular rule will be evaluated. Suppose you have created a new opportunity record and you have selected the evaluation criteria as created. So only that time that particular workflow rule will be run. So suppose when you have created this opportunity record, that time if the amount is 10,000 and the workflow rule will evaluate this particular record, it will find that it is not meeting the criteria when the record is created. So it will not run the workflow rule. But in case you have edited its amount at later point of time, after the record has been created, after some days, suppose you have edited this amount field to 60,000. So now it has become more than 50,000. But because you have selected the evaluation criteria as created, this workflow will not be evaluated. So for that, there is another option of created and every time it is edited. So every time you have created that record, that time also it will check the value of the opportunity amount, and every time it gets edited, then also it will check the opportunity amount. So if the second time when you are editing the opportunity and making the amount as 60,000, then that time also the workflow rule will, this workflow rule will get evaluated, and now it will find, okay, now it is showing the opportunity amount more than 50,000. So I have to take the action further. So that's your evaluation criteria. And the last one is created and anytime it's edited to subsequently meet criteria. So it is like the first time the rule will run when the record is created, and the next time it will run when it is edited, but not every time it is edited. When it is edited based on whatever criteria you have defined. Suppose you have defined this criteria that under this particular, if you have chosen this option of created and anytime it's edited to subsequently meet criteria, and the criteria is opportunity amount should be more than 50,000. So when you go ahead and edit only the opportunity amount, then only this rule will run. Suppose if you go ahead and select any other field to be edited in opportunity, suppose you have changed the opportunity status or opportunity probability, that time this rule will not be run, because to run it, you have given the subsequently you have given another criteria that the opportunity amount should be greater than 50,000. But when you're editing it, you're changing any other field. So that time this workflow rule will not be run. Only this workflow rule will run when you have uh, define the criteria of amount as greater than 50,000, and when that amount is going to change, then only this rule will be run. So basically when you select the criteria as created, this rule will be run only once per record. When it is created and every time it is edited, so the rule will be run when the record is changed. And the last one is edited to subsequently meet the criteria. So this criteria will meet and the rule will be run multiple times per record, but it won't run when the record edits are unrelated to the rule criteria. So when you are editing the record, but then whatever rule criteria you have defined that is not meeting, then this option will not be run. But every time you change this opportunity amount, you can change it like multiple times. So multiple times this rule will be run, but only when you are meeting that particular criteria. And in the second case, it will be run every time. Whenever you edit any other field also, it will check for the opportunity amount. So if it gets edited, then it will send the email. If it is not changed from the previous value, it will not be sent, but then it will be evaluated every time you edit that record. So it all depends what is your use case, and based on that you select this evaluation criteria. But then it is very important part, because whatever you select here, based on that only your workflow will first evaluated and then run. So make sure, like, when do you really want to run this particular workflow rule. Then the second thing is rule criteria. So the first one was the evaluation criteria, where your workflow will gets evaluated. Now the rule criteria. So criteria are met. So there are two options under the rule criteria. The first one is when the criteria are met. So select the filter criteria that a record must meet to trigger the rule. So you will give a filter basically. Whenever this record is created or edited or anything, the option you have selected under the evaluation criteria. So when it will pass that particular evaluation, it will come and see what is the rule criteria. So our rule criteria is the opportunity amount should be greater than 50,000. So we will define criteria are met, and we will select the field opportunity amount, and we will give the filter criteria is amount should be greater than 50,000. So that is your rule criteria. And there is another option where you can use the formula under the rule criteria, where when the formula evaluates to true, then only it will trigger the rule. If it returns the false, it will not run the rule. So after checking with evaluation criteria, it will come to rule criteria. And then there are two options under rule criteria. The first one is if the criteria are met, and the second one is formula evaluates to true. Here you can basically gives an expression or make a formula so that based on that formula return value, whether it is true or false, based on that the Salesforce will trigger the rule if only the formula returns true. So we can take an example, like if suppose we have number of filled positions and number of total positions. So suppose we have defined, okay, the total position should be 5 for this particular vacancy. And now when the filled position we are calculating, it becomes also 5. So now these both values are matching. So we want the status field to be updated as okay, this particular vacancy is filled. So this is our formula. If both the number of filled position and number of available position gets equal, then it will return the value true. And what should happen, the status field should be updated with the value filled. So that is your formula. Once criteria are set, define the actions to be performed. So now we have set the evaluation criteria and the rule criteria. Now the next part comes as what action it should take. So there are few actions that are defined based on the workflow rule, and these actions can be taken at immediately or after a certain interval of time. So it depends when do you want to take these actions when the criteria are matched. Do you want this action to be taken instantly? So in that case you have to select immediate action. And do you want it to be a time dependent action? Do you want it to be happen at certain interval of time or after some point of time? Then you have to select time dependent action. Suppose you have an opportunity and it's close date, you want to send an email to your manager or to the owner just before 1 week of the close date. Okay, now the close date is approaching, or it's just 1 week from the close date. So how is the progress on this particular opportunities? Or just to remind that particular person, okay, this opportunity is still open and you have to work on that. So those kind of thing, if you want to do, you will select the time dependent action. So you will select the time dependency as when the close date is going to be just 1 week after today's date. So you will give that particular action timeline over there. that this action should be taken just 1 week before the close date. And if you want it to be like immediate action, like in our case, what we have done in the last video, as soon as the record gets created, we want to send an email to the owner with the program information. So that would be our immediate action. As soon as the record gets created, we want to send that particular email. We don't want to wait for any particular time or any particular day we want to send. No, just as and when the record gets created, we want to send that email. So that is your immediate action. So what are the different actions that you can perform using workflow rules? So now you have defined the evaluation criteria. You have also defined the rule criteria. You have selected when this action should be taken, immediate or time dependent. Now what action you have to take? So there are 4 actions that can be associated with any workflow rules. So what are those actions? The first one is your email alert. So you must remember in the last video we have created an email alert. So these are the emails generated by automated process and sent to designated recipients, as we have seen in our previous video. So basically what you can do, like when this workflow rule will meet all the criteria, what action should be taken, you can send an email to the particular recipients. Then you can do something called task. The another action you can perform is task, where you can basically assign a particular user about details of any particular task. Or task is basically you'll be given a set of instructions, or maybe a set of things to be done to a specified user. So when this workflow rule gets executed, that particular user will be assigned with a task. And then the third thing is field update, where you can update a field value. So whenever this workflow will run, what action it should take? It should update a field value. Like we have seen in the example of number of filled position is equal to number of total position. So when the total position gets equal to the filled position, then what we want to update the field of status as we want to update it as filled. So this is your field update action. And the last one is the outbound message, where you basically sends information to a designated endpoint, like an external service. So this is basically used, like this workflow will run, and what it will execute, it will basically send some information to any external service. If you want to send any information or any field values to any external system, when your Salesforce is integrated with any third-party application. So if you want to send those details to any third-party application or any other system outside of Salesforce, then you can use this outbound message. So when this workflow rule will run, it will just satisfy all the criteria which we have defined. Then the workflow rule will execute this particular action of outbound messaging. So there are these 4 actions that you can perform with the help of a workflow rule. So it is based on what is the use case for your organization, for what type of actions you want to use this workflow rule. So based on that, you select the criteria, and then you select the actions, and when do you want to perform this action, like immediately or at a certain point of time. So this is all about workflow rules. Now we have some consideration while we are creating any workflow rules. So we have some consideration. So we will just quickly go ahead and see what are the different considerations, and then we will log in into our developer org and we'll create a workflow rule, and we'll see how it works. So each workflow rule applies to a single object. So you cannot basically apply a workflow rule to multiple objects. Every time you create a workflow rule, it will be defined for a particular object. So you have to select that object in the beginning when you're defining the workflow rule. Then the second thing is workflow rules on custom object are automatically deleted if the custom object is deleted. So whenever you delete any custom object, so whatever workflow rules you have defined on that particular custom object, it will also get deleted. Then when you're selecting the criteria, the evaluation criteria is created and every time it's edited. So whenever you're selecting this particular criteria, you cannot add that rule as under the time dependent actions. So we have discussed like there can be two actions, immediate actions and time dependent actions, but time dependent actions cannot be added to the rule if you have set the evaluation criteria as created and every time it's edited. Then it can't be your time dependent action, cannot be performed on such rules. So this is a exception. Now total rules, all objects are limited to 2000. So whatever rules you are defining, so these rules include your workflow rules, assignment rules, auto response rules, and escalation rules. So together all these rules, if you're defining across all the objects in your organization, so the limit is for that is 2000, and total rules per object are limited to 500. So on one object you can just define 500 rules, and these rules include all the rules which I have just told you, like the workflow, assignment, auto response, and escalation rules. And active rules at any point of time on a particular object, the active rules are limited to 50. So you maybe have defined 500 rules, total rules per object, but you can just activate 50 rules per object. So these are some of the considerations which we have to take care while creating a workflow rule. So now what we will do, we'll log in into the system and we will create our first workflow rule. So let's see how to do that. We'll log in into the system. So here we are in the setup. We'll just go and click on the quick find. And we will select here workflow rules. So once you type workflow here, you can see process, under process automation, you can see workflow rules and workflow actions. Like we have talked about different actions. So those actions are mentioned here. And then we have workflow rules. So first we will go ahead and define workflow rules. So I'll click on workflow rules. I'll click on continue. And there's currently no rule defined. We will click on new rule. And for the object, we will select the program because we want to send that particular email from the program object once the record gets created. And I'll click on next. So I'll give the rule name as, let's see, send an email when program, when send an email when a new program entered. So this would be our rule name, and we'll give description. It will send an email alert to the owner of program that a new program has been created. And when we want, so this is the evaluation criteria which we have talked about. There are three options: created and every time it's edited, and created and any time it's edited to subsequently meet the criteria. So in this case, we want to evaluate the rule when a record is created. So whenever a new record is created, we want to send that email and run this rule if the criteria are met. So these are the different rule criteria which we have talked about. The criteria are met and the formula evaluation to true. So these are two rule criteria when this particular rule should be run. So in our case, whenever a record is getting created, this rule should be run. So I'll just click save and next. And it's asking me to give at least one criteria, and the rule name should not have this space. So we have to remove the spaces from here, and we have to give as underscore. So I'll just send email. I'll just forward a little bit. Send email program creation. I'll do this. So next thing it is asking us to the error it is giving is to ask us to at least enter one criteria. So you should have at least one criteria or one rule criteria to be defined, so that you know this workflow rule will only run when this particular rule criteria is met. So at least one criteria should be there. So in our case, we just want to send this email whenever a record is created. So basically there is no field value check in our case, but what we can do is we can select the formula evaluates to true, and what we can do here is insert the field as program created date should be equal to program last modified date. So whenever you create the record for the first time, then your created date and the last modified date is going to be same. So what we just want to check whether this both of this date is equal, and this rule will be run only once when your record is getting created. So you have to just check, okay, the created date and the last modified date is equal, and we will just check the syntax over here. So for the first time, whenever the record is getting created, that time created date and the last modified date is going to be the same date. So we will just use this formula, and whenever this formula evaluates to true, so in our case, whenever the record is getting created, this formula will evaluate to true. So this email should be sent. So we have completed three things here. We have defined the rule name, and make sure that you don't have put spaces under the rule name, otherwise you'll get an error. Then we have to define the evaluation criteria when this particular workflow should be evaluated. And then you have something called rule criteria, where you have to define, okay, when this particular criteria met, then only this workflow rule will be executed. Now once it gets executed, what actions you want to take, so we will define that. So we'll click on save and next here. And here you have the two options which we have talked about: immediate workflow actions or the time dependent workflow actions. So whenever after defining the evaluation criteria and the rule criteria, you have an option to select when this particular workflow action should be gets executed immediately or based on any particular time. So we want it to be done immediately. So we will just add the workflow action here. So what we want to do is we want to send an email. So we already have an existing action defined for this email alert. So here we can select email alert. So we have already defined this action. So as you know that we have already defined this email alert in our last video, so we will select the existing action. Otherwise, as you've seen here, you have this option that you can create your new task, new email alert, new field update, and new outbound messages already from here. Like you can create a new one from here, but as we have already configured this existing action, so we have it under existing action. So we will go and select here email alert, and here the email alert which we have created is coming under the available action. So I'll just select it and put it under the selected action, the new program alert, and I'll just save it. Okay, so now this program alert has been set under the workflow actions which should be taken place immediately. So this is it. So we have defined the rule criteria, we have defined the evaluation criteria, and we have also defined what action we want to take. So I'll just click on done. So this is our workflow rule. Now to make any workflow rule, we should make sure that it is active, then only it will be gets run. So we will just click on activate. So now this rule has become active. So you cannot add new time triggers to an active rule. So if you do want to add any time dependent action based on this particular rule, so first you have to deactivate this rule, and then only you can basically add a new time trigger in this particular rule. So now it is active. So let's see what we will do. We will go ahead and create an record for a program, and let's see if we will get the notification or the email in our email box. So let's see. So I'll go ahead and under my app, click on programs. We'll create a new program, and we will give the program name as CA2, craft activity 2, and the program type would be, we want to select the virtual, and the program category will come as craft activities. We will give program start date as Monday and end date as Wednesday. And we will just click on save. Now we will log in into our email. So once we will log in into our email, we should get an email about the program creation. So let's check in our email. We'll go and select here. So here a new program record is created. Dear MS, so it is giving us the owner name, which we have used as a merge field, right? So we have used this as a merged field to get this owner name on the run, and whoever is the owner name, that will be displayed in our email. So dear MS, a new program record has been created, and we have also received all this information related to the program name, the program start date and end date, and thanks. So this is what we have defined in our email template, and we have used the merge fields to get it updated. Whenever a record is created, it gets updated with the new values. So if you go ahead and create another record for the program, so a new program will be created with a new name, start date and end date, and whenever that email will be sent, those new values will be displayed in that particular email. So it is dynamic, so it keeps on changing whenever you create record, and all other things we have kept it static, and whoever the owner, that will also gets dynamically assigned in the email. So that's how your email alert works. That's how your workflow rule works. So we have seen here how we have created a record and then sent an email alert to the program owner using a workflow and workflow rule in Salesforce. Now there are some other process automations. So in the next video, we will learn about the process builder, how we can use that process builder to achieve more complex or other kind of business processes which we want to automate. So how we can achieve those things using process builder, we will see in the next video. So thank you all for joining me in this video. I just want you all to explore different options of workflow rules, different options of rule criteria and evaluation criteria, and how we can select different actions that can be performed using a workflow rule. So you get there are like multiple use cases which can be done using this workflow rule. So I would suggest you to go ahead and explore those different options and try it out, and you will get to learn more about workflow rules in detail. So thank you all for joining me in this session today.